Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker for the day is Lisa Schwartz. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa is the Regional Educational Technology Coordinator in Central Illinois for Learning Technology Center. She holds a Master's of Arts in Educational Administration from Quincy University and a Bachelor's of Science in Elementary Education from Western Illinois University. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa is passionate about meaningful professional development and creating teachers and student leaders. Let's go ahead and welcome Lisa on board.
Well, thank you so much. Well, welcome everyone. Glad to be here today with you. We are going to talk about digital citizenship strategies and resources. If you would like here, you can access this slide deck by typing in this bit.ly link here. And I'll leave it up here on the screen for a minute here so you can type it in if you would like, or write it down so you can access it later. It is case sensitive, so the DC here is capitalized. And then what you can do for you to access this later, after today, you can bookmark it, or you can even add it to your Google Drive if you are using Google. And then once you do have access to this, hopefully that gave you enough time to write it down or type it in, that you can open up this sheet if you would like. And when you click on this sheet here, what you can do is then, I'll go ahead and click on it here. Then it can, you can select a row here and fill it out. And what I would like you to fill out here, you can see at the top of each column, I have, likes and challenges. And if you go back to this slide, let's see. And then on this slide here, what it lists in column 2, go ahead and type in one thing that you like about digital citizenship, one thing that challenges you about digital citizenship in column 3, and then so forth. Column 4, questions that you may have about digital citizenship. And then column 5, something positive that came from this school year. Because I know with all of the changes with the pandemic, some people had a hybrid approach to learning. Some people did just strictly online learning. So what's something that positive that came from this school year? And then in column 6, feel free to write any answers that you may know to any of the other questions that people have put on this sheet here. So again, if you are in this slide deck, you should be able to access the sheet here. If I went too fast and you didn't get it written down, again, here is the link for you to get into this slide deck. And it looks like some people are in this right now. So perfect, go ahead and fill that out if you have time. Again, the introduction of who I am. Thank you for introducing myself. Here is my email address. If you want to contact me or have questions later, feel free to do so. And then right here, I've got a link of some other workshops that are available that you can participate in this summer. Today, what we are going to talk about is what does it mean to be a digital citizen, and looking at some student information and the data around digital citizenship, and then sharing out some common sense media resources with you, and then some other resources out there around digital citizenship. So getting started here, what is digital citizenship? And right here, this is a definition from Cambridge Dictionary. And what they say about digital citizenship is someone who is skilled in using the internet in order to communicate with others, buy and sell things on the internet, and take part in politics on the internet, and someone who understands how to do this in a safe and responsible way. And so this has came about, sometimes students see what adults are doing, and sometimes what we're seeing is adults don't know how to be a true digital citizen out there in the world on the internet. Here, so if you're trying to incorporate digital citizenship into your curricula, and or if you're a teacher out there and trying to see what you can put in there, ISTE has some standards out there that can guide you in developing lessons and help you on your path. And if you click on this link right here, this will take you to the ISTE standards. And one of the strands of the standards is digital citizen, for students to be a digital citizen. And you can see there's 4 parts of being a digital citizen. And what this standard does is recognizes the rights, responsibilities, and opportunities of living, learning, and working in an interconnected digital world, and they act and model in ways that are safe, legal, and ethical. So again, if you're working on curriculum or checking to make sure you're on the right path and what you're doing with your students, you can look at these standards to help guide you. So are students engaged in a positive, safe, legal, and ethical behavior when using technology? 2C, students demonstrate an understanding of and respect for the rights and obligations of using and sharing intellectual property. And then you can also see we've got 2A and 2D. So feel free to take a look at the 4 strands. And again, if you go to this link here, you can see all of the standards for the students from ISTE. And digital citizen is the one we are going to talk about today. Now, a couple years ago, Richard Coletta from ISTE, he did give a presentation at the conference in Chicago in 2018, and he talked about digital citizenship. And what a big part of his speech was, online privacy and security are not digital citizenship. And another thing is that around digital citizenship, we talk about the don'ts rather than the do's. So what we're trying to do is shift that mindset and, talking about what you can do on the internet and how that can help you be connected in today's world. So again, this was just a sketch here that someone created during his speech. So again, like I said earlier, that we've mastered the don't in digital citizenship. So many times we tell our students, don't talk to strangers, don't share passwords, don't be mean, don't believe everything you read online, don't spread fake news, don't post pictures without consent. And, with this don't in digital citizenship, we're trying to, change the mindset of people to let them know and working with their students, what they can do on the internet and how it can be used in a good way. So, keep this in mind, and hopefully we can change the mindset of people out there. So this quote is from Richard, and he says, we can't practice not doing things. So again, when we go back to, don't be mean or don't share passwords, well, if they weren't sharing them in the first place, we can't practice not doing things. So what we're going to look at next is looking at the data around digital citizenship out there, and look at what parents and students are saying as well. So here on this first chart here, or this first graphic, is we see 91% say digital citizenship curricula are effective at helping students make safe, smart, and ethical decisions online. And all of this data is coming from the Common Sense Census. And if you would like to take a look at this and read it more in depth, you can. There is a link at the bottom of this presentation here that takes you to the report. But with this, you can see there's 6 strands here, and within the Common Sense media here, these 6 strands come from. You will see some other digital citizenship topics out there from other like DigCit, Commit, and then there's a few other digital citizenship platforms. But again, I am referring to the Common Sense platform, Common Sense media platform today. And from this survey here, 46% said that digital drama, cyberbullying, and hate speech were the most popular digital citizenship topics that were in the classroom. And then if you look down here at the bottom, 72% of educators are teaching at least one type of digital citizenship. So this is being taught in many schools, but what we're seeing is that it can be taught younger. And sometimes the common thread is I don't have, or the common theme is I don't have time to teach this, or I don't have the tools necessary to teach, you know, to add digital citizenship into my already packed curriculum. And we'll talk about some strategies on how you can implement that and where some resources are that your teachers, again, who are already strapped for a lot of time, don't have time to go and research all of this. So especially like I just said with the younger kids, what we're seeing, since younger students, you know, have all of this technology available to them, parents think that digital citizenship skills does need to be taught in the younger grades. And if you look at this chart right here, over half of the parents surveyed say that the skills should be taught in 1st through 3rd grade. And then on this one, this graphic here is educators' top tech-related concerns. So on this one, 35% of students lack skills to critically evaluate online information. So this has to be taught, but what we're also seeing is teachers need to be taught how to critically evaluate online information as well. So again, sometimes we're asking educators to teach this, but they haven't been taught or fully understand it themselves. So again, that's why curriculum comes into play if they can learn along with their students, that it's necessary for them to have some of the curriculum already there so that they can access. And then again, over here, 26% talks about technology distracts students from learning. So, you know, some school districts, you know, don't want their students to have their phones right there with them. But if you think about how many adults are, when they're in class, when they're in workshops, when they're learning, where are their phones? You know, we don't turn our phones into the teacher of that class. And especially while we're online, we don't know if their phone is right there next to them. So it's about trying to teach them the appropriate use of, yes, to have your phone there, but maybe to put it on silent and, you know, or maybe to turn it over so that you can't see every time that you get a message. So again, it's about trying to teach the students the do's instead of the don'ts. Again, on this graphic, this talks about the smartphone ownership has dramatically increased over the years. So you can see the bottom line is in 2015, and then the top bar or the top line here is in 2019. And again, it's showing that more and more kids at the younger ages are getting technology devices in their hands. And in this case, this is smartphones. So, and then as they get older, the percentage increases. So this is why it's important to start teaching digital citizenship at younger ages, if at all possible. Again, what we're seeing with the daily screen use increases with age. So again, when the students are in their tweens, they're spending about 4 hours and 44 minutes. And that time that they're spending, that's not including their school time that they're spending on, you know, using technology. And then the teens, so outside of their school day, outside of their homework, teens are spending over 7 hours being engaged. Is over here on the right is that we're seeing that the students that are from lower income homes are spending even more time on with the use of technology. So again, you can see all of this report here from the Common Sense Media if you would like to delve deeper into it. And then again, this graphic talks about the rapid rise in mobile tech use among younger children. So again, this goes over how among 0 to 8-year-olds % with each device. So the 95% smartphone in home, we're seeing that, increase over the years. And then again, here's another graphic about talking about tweens and teens interacting with social media. And then I thought this was interesting that 72% of teens believe that tech companies manipulate users to spend more time on their devices, so that they're being more aware of how they are being manipulated. So again, that can be talked about in the digital citizenship curriculum. Again, in the United States, here's a teacher's report of online hate speech occurring by grade level, but what we're seeing, again, this was a survey from the United States, but we're seeing this across the board worldwide. On this one, both parents and teens keep their mobile devices close to them at night. Again, a lot of teens are using this as their alarm clock, so they do have to keep this close to them at night, but then maybe spending a little bit too much time on it before bed as well. So with all of this data that we're seeing, and knowing that we need to teach digital citizenship, the question is, how do we then put this into the curriculum that is already packed? And I know a common theme from several people's presentations over the course of today is that we are already seeing a shortage of teachers across the world. And, we don't want to put more on teachers. So here, again, this is from Common Sense Media, is a digital instructional model that you can use to guide you in trying to get some digital citizenship curriculum implemented into the school day. You don't have to use this exactly word for word, but again, it's a model that you can. So you can, have it embedded if you have a library or media lab. You can embed it in some core subjects, embed it in electives, and even in health, wellness, and SEL. So again, depending on how your school day is set up. Another thing you can embed it in is if you do have an advisory class. But again, when we're talking about, this model here, some of the feedback you might get is, well, what do I put in? What do I teach? Where's my resources? And again, the time is limited, so that will show you some curriculum out there that you can use. Here's another example from the Ministry of Education in Singapore of how they've embedded digital citizenship into their curriculum as well, and they call it cyber wellness. So again, you'll have the slide deck after the presentation to go back through some of this. Here we've got some resources from Common Sense Media. And here, if you want to look at the entire framework to implement digital citizenship, you can click on that link to look at that as well. But like I said earlier, there's 6 core topics of digital citizenship, and there are lessons for each of these. So if I go to, let's see, let me talk a little bit more about this, and then if I have time, I'll go to the actual website. But what's nice about this is that the lessons, they're flexible, they're easy to implement. They are for kids ages 5 through 18. And what's nice about this, even though if you see a lesson for 5th graders and you teach 7th graders, you could still use any lesson for any grade. But again, if you're trying to implement this school-wide, some of these lessons, the students, if they had it the year before, then you would want to, stick with the lessons that you have for your grade level. Another key thing with this is that you can engage families. So again, we realize we only have the kids for a certain number of hours each day in the classroom. And we're finding that, not necessarily all families know about digital citizenship and what it means to be a true digital citizen in today's world. So trying to rope the family in to help teach. And again, this equips the family with some activities and tip sheets out there that they can help and have conversations with their own children about being a digital citizen. And again, we all love games. We've got some games here. We've got the digital passport and digital compass. Again, it shows grades 3 through 5 or grades 6 through 8. But again, with my background with working with middle school students, I had some students here who wanted to jump back to the digital passport. If they used it when they were younger, it reminded them, it brought back good memories, and they were comfortable with it. And so they went back to looking at the digital passport. But we've got the digital compass game here as well. And again, all of this is free to use and is accessible for anyone who does have a device and internet access. The Common Sense Media approach is the digital citizenship dispositions here. It's fostering habits of mind in the digital life. So not necessarily, telling the students, what to do on the internet, but it's for them to interact with others on the internet, and then also self-reflect, consider other perspectives, envision options, and take action as well. So again, there are authentic activities out there to engage the students, to help them with thinking routines, image analysis. So as you can go down here, you've got examples and it walks you through that. So if you do have time to go through the Common Sense education here, and if you go to the educators, this is the web page, you can see there's a strand here called Digital Citizenship, and then you can go to our curriculum. And you can, if you click on About Digital Citizenship and then look at the lesson plans, it has everything here. So right here, if you are a kindergarten through 2nd grade teacher, you can just only look at those lesson plans. You can filter it by grades, you can filter it and look at it by topic. So again, you've got a lot of different ways you can go about doing this. But again, when it comes down to it, it's giving your teachers time to go through this and know all of the resources that they have available to them. So here at the Digital Citizenship curriculum, here I can filter it by grades. I can also filter it if I just want to filter it, all of the lessons on media balance and well-being, I can do that as well. So here's all of the lessons by grade. Here's kindergarten, here's 1st grade, and so forth. But if I want to go and take a look at cyberbullying, digital drama, and hate speech, here I can see all of the lessons and what grade levels it is in. I know I have probably gone over time. You will have access to this slide deck afterwards. If I'm click through a few slides there I didn't talk about, but here's more resources. There's lots of different digital citizenship resources out there that you and your teachers do not have to recreate the wheel, and you can use and start teaching with them even today. So thank you for your time. And I know we might have some questions here that we can take. And feel free to get a hold of me here at this email address as well if you have questions after today. Okay, so one question here is, how can schools empower parents and teachers on digital citizenship? Great question. Again, if you want to, again, you can use some of the curriculum here from Common Sense Media. Do you have to use this? No, but the reason I point to this, because as a past classroom teacher, when I taught this in my classroom, this was all new to me. I didn't know some of the stuff out there that I should know. This was many years ago. And take the time to go back and develop some of these resources and lessons with the kids. I didn't have the knowledge and or the time to do so. So again, my background is working with middle school students here with this curriculum. And here in 7th grade, Upstanders and Allies Taking Action Against Cyberbullying. Again, this will help empower the teacher to have conversations and teach the students on this about cyberbullying, digital drama, and hate speech. So when you click on this, this takes you, you've got videos, you've got some background knowledge, some lesson resources here, and you even have a lesson plan for you to give you that background knowledge for you to make you feel more comfortable in teaching this with your students. Another question here, while media and technology hold a great promise for learning, how would young people learn to make sound judgments when navigating the world? Again, if they have access to this, giving them some experiences in a controlled environment and seeing how you and the other students interact, and teaching them about some of this stuff, having them interact positively with other students in the classroom, and maybe, like I said earlier, in a controlled environment, that you may be connecting with another classroom across, whether it's across the hallway, across the world, and talking about the interactions that they have with them. And again, instead of taking their devices away from them, or instead of blocking some sites out there, that you're having discussions about what they're posting and what they're seeing out there, because we all know that sometimes we may come across something inappropriate on the website. So then talking about that and dealing with that, and what we should do instead of just taking devices or blocking websites out there. If anybody else has suggestions on that, feel free to add to the chat as well. So if you do have time, the biggest thing with adding digital citizenship to your curriculum is taking time to see what's out there, and don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel. There's many other resources out there besides Common Sense Media, but this is a great place to get started, and for your educators to feel that they don't have to invest a lot of time to create the lessons and to do the research with that. So again, here, this lesson right here, it's got a lesson plan here. It talks about a warm-up, read, discuss, and then over here on the right-hand side, what you'll need. Again, there's even some slides out there for them that they can use with their students. Again, there's a handout, a teacher version of it, and then even a quiz. And then right here, I think someone mentioned this earlier in a question about getting the families involved. There's activities and there's tips here. And again, it may take some time, whether it's the student or you trying to convey to the parents what all of these activities that they can do with their child. Because again, we all know that the kids learn so much from their parents too. So not only do you have to try to educate the students, but you're educating their parents as well.
It was a pleasure having you on our platform. Thank you for coming and sharing insights. I'm sure everybody is delighted to have you on board and to listen to your session. Thank you so much once again.